Never, right?
Never gonna. No. I'm no daredevil. Nope.
I'm afraid of the water. Not going to any bullfights either. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Wizards reportedly deal Bradley Beal. Fernando Tatis Jr. is crushing it in right field, and Shohei keeps
people across the fence anymore, so who the hell knows? Less than a week after reports that the Wizards, your Wizards, were investigating the market for Bradley Beal, the team reportedly dealt him to the Phoenix Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, a bunch of second-round picks and a pick swap. Beal now joins fellow All-Stars Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Tony, where does this put the Suns, and where does it leave your Wizards?
Okay, so this was a straightforward salary dump by the Wizards. Right. They didn't want Bradley Beal anymore. They got nothing back. They got no quality players back. You say they got a bunch of second-round picks. You package them for something else. They don't really do anything for you. And I don't believe, maybe you do, because you're close with them, I don't believe Chris Paul will ever play a single minute for the Washington Wizards. They looked at Bradley Beal, and they said, you know, he's hurt a lot lately. We can't afford him. We don't win with him. We don't win any games. So let's get rid of him. Let's start from scratch. It's what they're going to do. And where does this leave them? It leaves them where they should be, like near the bottom. Bradley Beal may be great with Phoenix as a third or fourth option. He was not really particularly effective with the Wizards. What does it do for Phoenix? Mike, you and I talked about this. I was amazed that Kendrick Perkins went on television today and said Phoenix is the best team in the NBA. And I thought to myself, what? What are you talking about? At the moment, they got a lot of scoring. They don't have a point guard. You don't know that Booker can do this. You don't know that Beal can do this. Beal gets hurt a lot. Kevin Durant gets hurt a lot. Their center cannot handle Nikola Jokic at all. So how exactly are they better than Denver?
Well, Tony, I don't know that they're better than Denver. I was interesting because I listened to J.J. Redick talk about this, and he loves the move as well. And I'm not going to say I'm skeptical. I just don't know where it leaves them, and I don't think they're finished. They may still trade Ayton, and they may need to get two bigs or a big and a wing for Ayton, Tony. I don't know, and maybe they don't know. Tony, the day of just slapping together super teams is pretty much over, but the Suns went in that direction because you're not going to be able to sustain it financially with the new model that has been collectively bargained by management and players. So that's not going to work for very long. It's like a year or two window. But, Tony, let me say this. Nobody can stop Joker. So don't stop pinning that on Ayton, okay? Nobody in this era who plays big man basketball can touch Ayton, period. There are no Shaqs. There's none of that out there. They're not. Okay, so maybe you have to – what did I say? I meant Jokic. You have to maybe outscore him. Maybe you have to put together a team with three 30-point guys and go for it that way.
But you know what they did, Mike?
It's going to be interesting to see, Tone.
Yeah. You know basketball better than I did. They went small. They went small. They did.
I don't like small.
You look at the history of NBA. Right. You look at the history of NBA teams that try to go small, and they try to put together guards, and they try to put together Harden and Irving or something, and then they don't win. They don't win, ultimately. They don't. We move on.
Your Knicks did it. Your Knicks did it in the early 1970s. Monroe and Frazier, they did it.
But they had, stop. They had Willis Reed. They had the captain. They had David. What are you talking about? They had great bigs.
They had the
Busher, Fernando Tatis Jr. had an out, keeps doing Shohei things. But we begin today with Wyndham Clark taking a Sunday lead that once was as many as 3 shots and winning the U.S. Open yesterday by 1 shot over Rory McIlroy, who made a birdie on number 1 to tie for the lead and never made another. Wilbon, you watched all day and into the night, as I did.
Yep.
Would you rather talk about who won or who didn't?
Tony, I go back and forth on this. You and I started this conversation on your podcast this morning, and I know I wanted to talk about Wyndham Clark because I don't know anything about him. Like, we got late in the round, and as he got toward 15, 16, 17, I said, let me start looking up Wyndham Clark because I don't know jack other than he transferred from Oklahoma State to Oregon. I know he had his mom pass away while he was in college. That was a tough transition for him like it would be for anybody else. And I'm thinking this guy kept his poise. Yes,
he lives near you.
He does. He's a Scottsdale guy. He's right out the back of the studio. And you and Charles Barkley informed me that he's my neighbor, literally in the same street. I find out today.
That's great.
Wyndham Clark. Hey, Wyndham, come over, have some peanut butter and crackers later today. Are you kidding me?
Way to be on top of things. It was very good. On top of things.
It's good. Let's talk about who didn't win instead. I'm going to change up. Rory, Tony. Rory fascinates me. He fascinates me because he's still great. He's right there. He's right there at almost every major. He's in contention. He's hitting great shots. He's bombing the ball down fairways 370 yards at times. And he's burning the edges. He's right there, and he can't win. And I'm not going to say, I don't know that I agree with him. He says he's closer. I don't know that he's closer. He's never far, but I don't know there's a breakthrough either. It's kind of confusing. I find myself rooting for him, but he doesn't cash in anymore.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't root for him because he doesn't live in Scottsdale like Wyndham Clark does.
Florida guy.
All right. So I'm sorry to say this, but Rory McIlroy is supposed to beat Wyndham Clark. Rory McIlroy has 4 majors.
Why?
Wyndham Clark's, I'm telling you, if you pay attention and watch the show, you'll learn.
Pay attention.
4 majors. Wyndham Clark's best finish in a major, I was told today, was a tie for 75th. Rory tied for the lead on number 1 and never made another birdie. Mike on number 8. Number 8 was the worst moment for Rory McIlroy because he missed a 4-foot putt for birdie that would have put him again in a tie and put pressure on Wyndham Clark. He's in the group ahead of Clark, so Clark would have heard. He would have heard the roars if Rory did anything great.
I know he couldn't make the putts.
It simply never happened. Let me say this about Wyndham Clark, though. He earned this. He was steady. He was deserving. He made great chip shots time after time after time. And as Rory's lag putting was tremendous because he was within inches of the cup, it never actually fell in. And Wyndham Clark's fell in. So he is deserving. Now, he may be a one-time winner. He may be sort of like Michael Campbell or Webb Simpson, but he was deserving in this moment, I thought.
Yes,
he was.
Tony, that's why I can't say that. I can't say that Rory should have won. At one point, Rory had to win his first. And he must have beaten people in a field that included Tiger and Phil, and you can't say, well, they should have won it.
It's close to 10 years since he has won a major. This happened at St. Andrews. He lost to someone who had not won a major before. He played well, but not well enough.
A lot of guys don't get to 4. Most of them don't get to 4.
Most don't get to 1. Most. Most don't.
Man. But my neighbor has 1.
Apparently. I told you. Yeah, I told you he was your neighbor.